I'm going to call to order the Town of Dayton's joint meeting of the Library Board Committee and the Library Board of Trustees. It's Thursday, October 10th, 2024, and it's 3:03. We're located at 1111 Somerset Avenue in Dayton, Mass. It's a hybrid meeting, so I'm going to ask all the members of the building committee to identify themselves, starting with Ron O'Connor.
Ron O'Connor, co-chair.
Jonathan Gale, ADA coordinator.
Ken Pacheco, co-chair.
Mark Brockman, library director.
Mark Tavares.
Thank you.
Okay. Call to order the meeting of the Dayton Public Library Board of Trustees, joint meeting with the Library Building Committee. The listing of matters are those reasonably anticipated by the chair, which may be discussed at the meeting. Not all items listed may in fact be discussed, and other items not listed may also be brought up for discussion to the extent permitted by law. So we'll do a roll call, starting with Ann.
Ann Meitzen, trustee.
Rita Araujo, trustee.
Ron O'Connor, chair.
Could we please stand for the pledge? I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Well, we don't have Jim here, but building infrastructure, do we have anything on that?
Yeah, I can report that the exterior wheelchair ramps are completed. The newly refurbished one has been newly refurbished, and the newly constructed one has been newly constructed. Jim may have some more to say on some other things, but I can report that that has been completed, and Plan B submitted their invoice, which is later on in the agenda. So feel good saying that. I also want to say, I don't know where it falls in agenda point wise, but we did get our second storage unit that arrived last week, just in time for my scheduled delivery of shelving to get put in there. I have one more delivery coming up in November, which will go in there. There's also a desk we're going to be putting in there. But so we're in good shape as far as that goes. Yeah, so things looking good from that end as well.
Does Plan B have anything further they're working on the interior?
In the interior, yes, I believe so. I believe from what Jim Aggie said at the last meeting, they have another project going to do. He has some other stuff he needs to take care of first, and then Plan B is going to come back and finish up the rest of their scheduled work. Because I know he has to sandblast the columns because they're going to finish with the porches.
Right.
He needs to do some electrical in there before Plan B can finish whatever they need to do in the interior. And Jim would have, better updates, but they're at a pause now because I think other stuff needs to happen in the building before Plan B can come back and finish their work.
And I think you mentioned the HVAC too, because as it's getting colder, we're not going to expect them to be working in the cold, so we're going to wait for that to.
Right.
That's what he mentioned at the last meeting.
And as far as I know, he's still on track to have that go out to bid at some point in November. So hopefully that's still on track, because that will be good as far as the timeline goes.
And so the exterior work is the exterior now that the ramps are done.
For the exterior, the front porches, and once those columns are sandblasted, there's work to be done there. And Plan B will be doing that when they come back.
All right.
They can't do it yet because those columns haven't been sandblasted.
Sure. All right.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So there's a method to the madness.
Yeah. Good.
And the question that Jonathan asked me on the way over, the railings for the ramps aren't in yet.
No, correct. And also, Jonathan, to follow up on a conversation, the interior railings have not been built yet for the interior ramp either.
Or the exterior.
Or the exterior, correct. No ramp has any railings at this time.
Okay.
But they will.
It will. Any questions about that? If not, we'll go to the budget.
So speaking with the town accountant, it makes the most sense for her, when she does her monthly reports, is to just send out the project budget with those monthly reports. So the monthly report may not coincide with a meeting, but at the end of each month, she's going to send out this new one. And this is the newest one she sent to me. And everything's up to date as of the end of September. And the next one that will be coming our way will be, as of 8. Oh, I'm sorry, I must have something wrong. But that's my fault.
Okay, but you can.
I'll follow up with something correct.
Yeah, between now and the next meeting.
Now, next meeting, yeah,
Just
so,
notice it now. I'm not-
yep, that one's on me.
That's fine.
I shouldn't name documents the same exact names with very slight differences. So that one is on me.
That happens,
But yeah, next meeting we'll have the up-to-date one,
sure. Thank
but
you.
it will be coming out at the end of each month.
Well, that's good. So everybody on the committee can have an idea
Yes,
as to
yes.
where we are financially. Does anybody have, I know this isn't up to date, but anybody have any questions about the budget or anything? If not, we'll move on. Yep. Ron?
I know I was remote for the last meeting. Was she planning on coming to this meeting or am I missing?
No, I don't think she needs to. That was basically in response to the, that letter. But that was sorted out
Great.
prior to, and everything, all parties are satisfied with how that went down. So I don't think her presence would be requested after that.
Okay, thanks.
Yes, I think it was help with the letter that Jim wrote and then
Right.
I signed.
Yeah.
That's what kind of.
Yeah,
resolved that
yeah.
issue.
Okay, good.
Grants and, I don't think we have anything on this, but grants and
No,
fundraising.
I just want to write that Ron signed the application for state aid. I finished it last week. It went out, and we will know in a couple months how much we get.
And wasn't there something with the Board of Selectmen approving?
Yeah, that's for the fundraising subcommittee.
Right.
And that's.
That's coming.
That's
Oh,
coming
that's
up.
right,
Yeah,
okay.
Yep, we have that on the
We'll be
agenda.
there, shortly. Community updates and information. I'm not sure we got anything.
Well,
additional on that one.
yeah, so
Maybe we do.
Yeah, the town's PR firm actually has been engaging me rather frequently on doing regular updates. And by the schedule, my contact laid out for me, if you think about doing 2 updates a month, and I have a lot of control over the content. I'm not sure, how much control I would have had,
Yeah.
but it turns out I can stagger it. So I'm not gonna say, this is what it looks like. We're not doing nothing but construction updates. So for example, the first update we did was basically from January to September. This most recent update, and I actually put them on the website. So you go to the Dayton Library website, new library information. I'm actually updating that webpage with all that information that I'm receiving. This one dealt with the exterior wheelchair ramps. I thought the timing was good because they're completed. I could put finished products up there. The next one, I'd like to focus on the work that the Friends are doing, because we're gonna have our Friends meeting tonight. We're gonna get the final tally officially from the golf tournament. And I think that will be good to focus just on the fundraising for the Friends. And then another one I have in mind later on is once those columns get sandblasted, I want to do a great shot with the historic 1912 photo right next to a current photo with it just completed. I think that would be a really good shot. And then that would take us right up to mid-November, where we could talk about the HVAC going out to bid. So I've kind of got updates lined up. They're not all, this is the work that's been done. This is the work 2 weeks later. It's not like that. So I don't think there's an issue of oversaturation with content because the content's somewhat staggered as far as what I'm presenting. So I think, I think that's going to be good. People are going to be getting information, but varying kinds of information that are really capturing the full scale of what's going on with the project.
Anybody have any questions or thoughts on that? No?
I think in the past, we've included quotes from chairs, co-chairs or staff or whatever. I think it would be good to include that in the next one, even to get something from Zach.
Yep.
Something from library
I was
trustees.
planning on bringing that up at the meeting, the Friends meeting tonight.
Good.
To send anything they want my way and I can make sure it gets included.
Yeah, so I think I'd like to include a quote from the trustees, for example,
Yep.
if we're acknowledging the Friends.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Ken
Certainly.
Canuan as co-chair of the building committee.
Yeah.
They just added a more personal touch to the,
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. For sure.
okay.
Thank you for that. Review, discuss, and act on plan B payment request for weeks 7 and 8 of work.
So I have the invoice that Plan B sent for their work solely on the exterior wheelchair ramps. Before Jim Aguirre went away on vacation or his conference, wherever he is, in Western Massachusetts, he looked through and signed off on it. Total comes to $16,102 even. Or since this work relates to the wheelchair ramps, I would propose splitting this invoice between the project budget and the ADA access grant. And I had a nice conversation with Jonathan to map out how the rest of that grant's gonna go to make sure we hit all of our obligations. And I'd feel comfortable paying $5,000 from the ADA grant towards this invoice, which would mean that instead of $16,102 coming out of the project funds special article, it would be $11,102 coming out of the project fund special article, with $5,000 coming from the ADA grant, paying down the invoice in full. And that's what I would propose. I'd like to submit this invoice for payment following that schedule.
And you said you spoke to Jonathan.
I did,
about that,
yes.
so-
Yeah, we spoke about it and we went over the different things in the budget to see, not what we can eliminate, but there are a couple of things in there which I think we can at least guesstimate pretty well. The costs are going to be less than what they were, or ways that we can keep some of the costs down
Right.
on a couple of things. So for example, in the workshops, we can keep the cost down.
Right.
The cost of the draw speech system for adaptive technology, we can bring that cost down. We think by $500 or $600 as well. And then a couple of the other things as well, which were constructive things, we can bring the cost down. So when we put it all together, I think we came up with almost 6,000, but thought we should round it at 5,000 to give ourselves a little bit more back room. What we're not accounting for here, and this is the bump in the road a little bit, is what we're not accounting for is when we hold our next discussion group on moving forward and, what people want out of the library and informational sessions, similar to what you and I did, Ron, several months ago. What's not budgeted anymore regardless is if people wanted cart services or interpretive services. And in that case, if they make that request, we're going to put in there this time, as opposed to automatically having it, they can make the request up to 10 days prior to, so that we can schedule it and we can cancel it if we don't get any requests up to 24 hours prior to the event. And if we do have to pay for that, then Mark has other funds that we can pull from his general.
Yeah, I would offset that, yeah.
Offset that, so that will not come out of this budget. So knowing that gives us the ability to do a full $5,000.
Any questions about that?
Just to take that one step further, Jonathan, and looking through the original grant budget, we originally budgeted 1,000 for
Correct.
those particular services. And so far, we spent $810 and change from that. So we have almost $190 left from that, but to do it again would put us over the top of what was budgeted. So it'll be offset likely through Meg Lake funds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll ask Ron, is this just a vote on the monies for you, for the trustees, or is it both that we vote to approve?
I think it's both,
Allocation.
because we're paying from special article and
Both, yeah.
grant, which is under the trustees' purview.
Yeah, let me know if I got the correct figures, but I'll
Okay.
entertain a motion that the library building committee approve paying $16,102 to Plan B. Is that the correct amount of money?
Yes,
5,000 coming from our ADA grant and the balance $11,102 from other funds that we have.
special article funds, yep,
Special article funds.
that is correct.
Can you hear a motion on that?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second,
Any discussion? If not, I'll call for a vote, starting with Ron.
Ron O'Connor, aye.
Jonathan Gale, aye.
Ken Pacheco, aye.
Mark Proknik, aye.
Mark Tavares, aye.
Okay, so we need a motion from the trustees for the allocation of funds from the American Library Association's accessibility grants. How much was that again?
It's $16,102 with
No, no.
$5,000 coming from ADA.
Ann Meitzen, I move that we pay the $16,102 to Plan B's bill for 7 and 8, week 7 and 8 of work, 5,000 from the ADA grant, 11,102 from the project fund special article.
Second.
Okay, motion made and seconded. Any discussion? If not, we'll vote, starting with Ann.
Ann Meitzen, aye.
Rita Russo, aye.
Ron O'Connor, aye.
It's my intention though that we have not got a bill yet on the, what we spent for supplies. Is that correct? Or do we have a bill?
Yep, this was mostly materials, yes.
Oh.
So 14,000 out of the 16,000
Okay,
invoice,
what's
it is
materials?
material
Okay,
with very, with minimal labor. Yeah,
No.
yeah.
good. I didn't know.
Yep.
Good.
So I have a sort of related question or comment, and I'll defer to you, Jonathan, on this, because I heard you referred to it as a wheelchair ramp. Is that okay, or do we just call it a ramp or?
Refer to it as an accessible ramp.
Accessible ramp?
That's what I'll call
Yeah,
it.
let's call it. Because it's more than just wheelchair. We don't-
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yep.
Thanks for that clarification. Notification of the Board of Selectmen of fundraising subcommittee. I want to first of all thank Ron for drafting that letter that we're going to submit, hopefully submit to the Board of Selectmen. Has everybody had an opportunity to take a look at that letter? Okay, maybe I didn't. Are there any questions about that letter? I was fine with it. So
Thank you.
we need to take a vote on this. I probably should take a vote on this. Submit this letter.
Yeah, we might as well. Can't hurt. I think it only needs to be a vote by the building committee.
Okay, I'm going to ask the building committee to amendment to make a motion that we approve the letter that Ron had provided us with, that Ron and I will be signing and sending to the Board of Selectmen for the next meeting.
So moved.
Second,
Oops, sorry.
I'll second.
Mr. Ross, a second. Any discussion? If not, I'll call for a roll call vote, starting with Ron.
Ron O'Connor, aye.
Jonathan Gale, aye.
Ken Pacheco, aye.
Mark Travnik, aye.
Mark Tavares, aye.
Thank you. Ron, again, that was a good letter. I thought you covered everything that
Do
needed.
you have a copy that we can initial? I did bring one. If not, because you have the draft.
I have the draft.
But I did bring one. Okay. We can initial it and then,
That's the one thing I didn't print.
that's okay. I thought if I'm going to print one out, I might as well print out the one that,
Okay.
and just cross my fingers that there are no amendments made to it then. All right, then I'll just take the staple out and I'll initial it then.
Has everybody had an opportunity to look at the minutes of our last meeting, September 26, 2024? I know that, Jonathan, you weren't present.
No, so I can't.
At that meeting.
We even vote on that? 1, 2, 3, 4.
We could vote on it, but it wouldn't be legit.
Okay, all right.
5, if you.
Right, but Jonathan has-
Jonathan-
Oh, Jonathan, I'm
I
sorry.
think it just needs
Okay.
our initials.
Never mind.
I would say table it.
I'm going to ask that it be tabled and brought up at the next meeting.
Thank you, Mark.
Oh, Mark.
Get it to Selectman Karen, will be all set? Sure. I'll be happy, if that ends up on the agenda, I'll be happy to go. I mean, there's some history there that, I've talked about. I can't find the letter, but it just raises the question, can we have a committee? And if he says, you don't need to do this again, it's fine.
I don't watch the meetings, nor do I attend them.
Yeah.
No,
But I will attend if I see it, on the agenda and I can attend, I will. And I'll just say, I think it's good form to do that.
Yeah,
That's all.
thank you.
Who is missing from today? Jim, Pat?
Nicole,
Britt,
Rick,
Nicole.
and the
Rick.
town administrator.
Okay, I didn't
So it's
realize, I
fine.
forgot he was part of the committee
Yeah,
because
it's
of his
fine.
application.
When's the new one starting?
Good question. I think at some point this month.
21st,
There's an exact date?
that's the date that
Okay.
was planned.
Okay,
That's great.
okay.
Good.
When would we like to schedule the next meeting?
Well, we're scheduled for 2 weeks
That's right, because you,
because we're supposed to have a
You-
speaker
yes.
by Zoom.
Oh, okay.
So,
So October 24th?
yes.
And 3 o'clock,
3
is good, everybody.
Let's double check. Calendar. I think I already have it in my calendar, but let me just make sure. Yep, that's fine. I'll put it, I don't have my calendar, but I will add it now.
You're all set then?
Yep, thank you.
Good. Any questions or concerns before I ask for a motion to adjourn? Any other thing? Anything else that we need to bring up? If not, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
I'll call for a vote, no discussion. Ron?
Ron Connor, aye.
Jonathan Gale, aye.
Ken Pacheco's aye.
Mark Brockman, aye.
Mark Tavares, aye.
Thank you, Mark.
You're welcome. Have a good
Thanks,
night.
Mark. Two.
You guys not going to adjourn your meeting?
Okay, I make a motion that we adjourn.
I wasn't sure if you had a meeting.
I second. We do.
We do, but we have to take care of it.
Okay, we have a motion made and second to adjourn the library trustees meeting jointly with the library building committee. We'll vote starting with Ann.
Ann Meitzen, aye.
Rita Russo, aye.
Ron O'Connor, aye. Meeting adjourned. Well.